the CEO of Colorado Visiting Nurse Association. Have you ever volunteered before?
Hi, Cassie. Thanks for having me sit down with you. Actually, yes, I spent an entire year volunteering right out of college. So I went to a Catholic university up in northern Colorado, and the university had a mission down in Selma, Alabama. So I volunteered for a week my senior year and decided I wanted to do that for my entire year. So I spent the entire year working for Habitat for Humanity and also helping do service projects, doing home alterations and things of that nature. Also had the opportunity to meet my wife. She was also a volunteer that year as well. So volunteering is a significant part of who I am and a significant part of my relationship and really what we're trying to instill with my kids as well.
Wonderful. So what type of activities, I guess, more specifically? I think all the volunteers would be really curious. Yeah. Was it just building houses or was there more to it?
Yeah. Well, my dad was a builder, so I grew up working construction, building homes, summers, my entire life. And what I focused on, since that was a talent I had, is worked for a local Habitat affiliate in Selma, building houses. Also did some blitz builds where we got together for a week and built like 30 houses. And in addition to that, we hosted service trips. So colleges would send students down for a week trips, and we would take them both to work in the houses that we were building, but also we would do home alterations. So people who lived in the community who had problems with their homes. So a perfect example is a client that was seen by a visiting nurse. A small home health agency in central Alabama determined that this gentleman had no bathroom. He had a lot of issues with his home, and he brought us in and we did some service trips out there to help shore up the foundation of his house. We installed and created an outhouse. We painted his house and a whole bunch of other things over many trips. So a lot of kind of home modification and things like that.
Wow, big projects. Why is volunteering so important to you?
Well, as I said, it's part of my DNA. It's part of my wife's DNA. I just see that, quite frankly, there's really never enough funding to provide all the services and work that's required to, in our case, keep people independent in their homes. Being a nonprofit, we take on patients in care where we don't always have enough reimbursement for that care. So volunteers really help close that gap so that we can continue providing care where other organizations, other for-profit organizations might not be able to. So volunteering helps extend the things that we can do. Also, being a hospice organization, volunteers is actually a mandated part of the care we provide. So being able to provide a volunteer to be there to really help extend the care our nurses and therapists and chaplains are doing is a huge important part of the work we do. And then ultimately, we care for so many people. Having volunteers work in the office and help extend what we do is a huge part of really how we keep the doors open.
Is there anything fun about yourself that you'd like to share with the volunteers?
I'm getting older, but I like to think of myself as being a 20-year-old trapped in a 47-year-old body. So I spent a lot of time running and competing. So I do a lot of bike racing from time to time. And a fun small sport within bike racing called cyclocross. It's a weird combination of mountain biking and road biking. And it's basically riding a bike that looks like a road bike, but it actually has knobby tires. And you race in these small 2-mile loops. And part of the race is you have to get off the bike and run and hop over obstacles and run upstairs and whatnot. So
and you're carrying your bike the whole time?
And you're carrying your bike. So wow. I've heard it described as the ballet of cycling because it's a significant, important part of it is being able to efficiently get on and off your bike quickly, because the faster you can do that, the faster you can be next to the guy next to you. So it's kind of a fun little hobby, but right now it's more just giving time, a lot more running because it takes less time.
Absolutely. Interesting. I kind of want to see a video of that now.
Just do a search on cyclocross. There's lots of videos on it.
Why are volunteers important to Colorado VNA? And you kind of touched on this a little bit.
Yeah. Being a nonprofit, I think there's no more synonymous part or more combination than volunteerism and nonprofits. Nonprofits, whether it be Colorado VNA or Project Angel Heart or Senior Resource Center or any other nonprofits in the area, they cannot exist without volunteers. So the same is absolutely true. With Colorado VNA. We have over 100 volunteers, and Cassie, you know the exact number, but just with the volunteers we have, really almost calculates up to 2.5 or 3 FTEs just with the work that volunteers do in the office, let alone all the other hours of work that volunteers do in the field. So I see volunteers as an integral part of keeping the organization open and running and being able to do what we need to do to keep people independent in their home.
Okay. Well, I just had a good question that popped in my head and we lost it. How do you think volunteers connect to the mission of Colorado VNA?
If you think about when we were founded in 1889, those first people who visited the sick were volunteers. They were doing it on their own dime, with their own time. So if you could say that it was really a volunteer that founded Colorado VNA. So I can't think of something more integrated than volunteerism and this organization.
What do you think makes our volunteers so special?
Just the commitment, the time that they give to the organization. We have a great volunteer right now who is a clinician and is working to get citizenship. And as he's doing that, he's volunteering his time to help us out, as an example. So, really being committed to working in this area is really important.
Nice. And do you have a special message for the Colorado VNA volunteers to hear during National Volunteer Appreciation Week?
Please keep spending your time with us. Please keep bringing your friends and your family to help us continue our mission. We're in a really exciting time as an organization. We just moved to our new building, as you'll see during your time. But also we're at a time where there's great need for those that are 65 and older. And quite frankly, having more volunteers help us provide that care is going to be a huge part of helping to alleviate some of the challenges that the state of Colorado is going to be undergoing with the dramatically increasing population of those 65 and older. So really keep spending your time with us, keep working with Cassie, keep bringing your family and your friends with us to our events, and keep coming up with creative ideas to help us with our mission.
So thank you, volunteers. You guys are great.
Thank you. Sorry I couldn't be there.